Well, thanks for joining me today on Jeremy Rigging Outdoors. So today I just want to talk a little bit about a new bow that I bought. Last season, 2021, I was able to harvest my first archery buck with the Elite Remedy. That was a new bow to me, brand new on the market, and was able to purchase my first new bow. Super excited about that. But something that I've always been intrigued with was recurve bows. So over the past summer, we were at a garage sale and happened to see a recurve bow that I just had to have, and I couldn't pass it up. It's a Bear Super Kodiak. It is a 60-inch long recurve with a 45-pound draw weight on it. And I knew very little about it, but knew I was getting a good deal, and I bought that. So after doing a little research on some Facebook sites, got in touch with a couple of people. There's a vintage recurve bow page, and I was able to get on there and had several people that were able to almost give me down to within a year or two of which model this is, and it's super cool. This thing is believed to be a 1974, which is super cool. I'm super excited about it, and we're going to start the recurve rabbit hole. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to be taking it out into the woods next year, but it is January, just a couple days in. We're the 3rd of January here when I'm taping this, and I'm just getting started now. So just got my strings in the other day, ordered a new set of strings, and we're going to go through a few things on setting this thing up, so stay tuned. So I'm going to go over stringing this bow up. So the way we used to do it, the way I'll do it right now, is I would put this limb on my left leg, slip my right leg through the bow here, and then using my palm, I'm just going to use my palm to push on the top of this limb, and as I'm doing that, we're bending this in. Hopefully you can see that. We're going to bend it in like this, and as we do, we're going to slide this string up and put that into the pocket, the string pocket. Once you've done that, you're going to want to make sure that you've got this string completely inside the groove here, and then make sure your string, there's a groove in the back of the limb here, make sure that's seated in there as well, and then look at the bottom and make sure that's seated completely. You don't want to end up trying to pull that thing back and have that string slip out of the pocket. So make sure those are good before you go any farther. But today we're going to get into making our own bowstringer. So we're going to get some supplies. I'll kind of go over that. I'm into DIY stuff, so of course I'm going to make my own. You can purchase them, but I'm going to be making my own today. So we're going to use some 550 paracord and some strips of leather that I had laying around, and we'll show those steps. All right, so we're going to do the quick, cheap version of a bowstringer. So first thing I did was I went to the dollar store, got these big erasers, and got some paracord. So right now I only spent $2. I was looking for something like this, but I found one laying around the garage. Just basically a little pouch that you'd get from a tool set. Tons of the little tool sets you can find that are going to have something like this, whether it's a flashlight or something like this. This came from, I think, a knife. But you can definitely use this, and it gets it done pretty cheap for really around $3 or $4. Some of the tools we're going to need: a torch or a lighter, a nail. You could use a nail or a screwdriver, a knife, and a drill bit. So let's get started. I'm only going to need a chunk just about as wide as the limb itself. And then we're going to drill a hole right through the middle here. Just chose a drill bit a little bit smaller than the razor itself. We're going to take our paracord and we're going to string it through. We're going to tie a bowline knot, however you want to call it. And we'll show a close-up of that as well. And then the other thing we're going to do, the other end of our string, and I will list the dimensions. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember the dimension exactly offhand, but just for the sake of video, I'm just going to cut this and then I'll fix it later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this nail up. For me, I'm going to use the torch just because I think it's going to be easier, but you could definitely use a lighter. But we're going to heat this nail up and then we're going to melt some holes right here into our sheath. Get a paracord through our 2 holes we burned in there. And we're going to tie another one of those bowline nuts. And there is our bowstringer. So what's cool about this is you can take all the cord and wrap it up. And that is going to tuck real nice right into the pouch. And if you get the eraser the right size, even that'll fit in there. Snaps closed, and you've got a bowstringer, real handy, carry around. Once you're done with it, tucks away real nice. So that's a quick, easy version, and then we'll also do a little bit more of a homemade version. Real quick, how to tie the bowline knot. This is the best way I've seen. It was on a YouTube video from Guide You Outdoors. So basically, you're going to feed this through whatever you want. Your tag end's going to stay on the right. You're going to take your thumb, pinch this, bring it over so that this part of the rope is on top. Feed this through, bring your tag end through there and pull that up, and then literally you're just pulling it tight. And there you have just this quick, easy, tight knot that's super easy to get undone. And just is really strong knot. So that's the bowline knot. So when we tie that knot, we're going to want to have probably a little bit more than this even. Actually, this side's okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So here's that bowline again. We're going to pick this up, twist it so that this end's on top. Bring it under. Bring our tag line through. And then hold these 2 pieces and then pull tight. And now you've got like this super strong knot, really tight and easy, and that gives us a nice size loop. That's about the size loop. We want probably about a 6-inch loop there. Alright, so we got some 550 paracord, and then we've got some scraps of leather that I had from a project a long time ago. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a little pocket out of this part right here. That'll end up folding in half. So we're going to basically sew this up. Whenever our pocket's done, this will be on the one end of the limb. And then let's make our other piece. Alright, so I put a little bit more into it than I really needed to. But basically we've got a pouch, and then we've got just this little square piece, and this will go on the limb. The limb actually will go inside here, and we'll have some 550 paracord tied to this, all the way over to this one. And then from there, this will be placed on the other limb. And this can be accomplished in several different ways. You could actually go and use a pouch from like a small pocket knife or something like that. You could use one of those. I've seen that done. But I just had this leather laying around, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll go from there. We're going to attach some paracord on there and tie some knots, and we'll show that. Alright, so this is kind of our finished product. Again, we've got this little leather pouch, gutted 550 paracord with a bowline knot here, and then there's this little pad, same sort of thing with a large loop here. This loop can be fairly small, but you're going to want a good sized loop here. So again, mine from the floor to the end of the pocket is right at 61 inches. We'll show how that works. So we're just going to slip this pocket on with the knot side down. And bring our sleeve over. And when we do this, make sure you're wearing shoes. If you're wearing socks, this rope tends to slide like this. You want it to stay firm. And when I go to pull up, use this hand to make sure this is staying as far down as you can. Otherwise it'll end up just sliding up here, not doing you any good. So just kind of make sure it's down there. Pull up, it loosens the slack on your string, and you can let go. Same thing for putting it back on. When you go, before you pull up, push this thing out quite a ways, and then give yourself, pull that thing up. Make sure you're well seated before you let go, and then you can let off. Take this off, again, making sure that your string is fully seated on both ends. So there we've got it. For a recurve bow, we've got two totally different stringers. One's kind of a more homemade custom piece made out of some leather, and then the other one from the dollar store and some stuff you might have laying around the house. It's real cheap and easy to make. Fits in this nice little pouch. You can carry that around in your backpack while you're out in the woods or wherever else you need to be. So overall, both of them work really well. The rubber on the eraser does seem to help to grip the limbs a little bit better than the leather, but I kind of like the leather one just because it's a little more rustic-y. But both do the job, so hopefully you learned something today. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.